it's Mark here from Mark's Reviews and Tutorials, who also happens to be Mark from Nillumbik Pool and Spa Service. Now, I want to talk to you today about pumps. Mark from Mark's Reviews and Tutorials, and I want to talk to you about variable speed pumps. Now, I'm not going to plug up here and say, buy. I do actually sell these because people want them, and that's fine. So I will put some links up both for Amazon US, you can get really good prices on Hayward. I'll put the links up for, and also here in Australia where you can actually buy them from me. So have a look at the links in the description if you do want to buy one of these. But I'm just going to do this because I've studied pumps a lot. I've been in the pool industry for 30 years, something like that. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to swimming pool. Variable speed pumps are new. They do save power. Have a look at this, up to 80% running costs. 90% running costs. The simple fact is that when you're filtering your pool, you need a big pump in order to backwash a sand filter properly. I'm shooting this in my office, but if that little paper shredder over there was a sand filter, when it backwashes, again, I've got a video, have a look here for a video about what's inside a sand filter, how they work. But when it backwashes, it has to wash the sand. When it filters, the water comes in the top and is filtered through the sand and goes through. Now, it's designed to happen at a certain pace. If you oversize a pump, that's no good. It can actually tilt your sand and get bad filtration. So firstly, you've got to match your variable speed pump so its maximum speed isn't too much for your filter. But secondly, then running it is fine. You can run it really, really slow and it will actually do better filtration because the water's passing through slower. You then, though, need a big pump to backwash it properly. That there is the beauty of a variable speed. You can filter it on the low speed and save 90% of your power. This one though is a great big thing, only for like 36-inch filters or larger, big commercial things. These guys back here at 80% you can put onto domestic pools. The super pump is the one that I've been selling. So you can, and then again, you've got smart chlorinators now and power systems that will drive all of that and decide the speed, and you can program them and set them all up. They are clever and they are a good system. But there are some catches. If you have a suction type cleaner or ever want to get a suction type cleaner, Creepy Crawly, Barracuda, Aquanaut, all of those, suction type cleaner as in it's relying on the pump to drive it, you got to have it running at full speed, maybe the half speed, but doubtful. Normally you got to have it running at full speed in order to run it. So if that's your situation, variable speed's a waste of time. The amount of times I've walked onto a job, they've been sold a variable speed pump, but they've got a suction cleaner, so they don't ever run it on the lower speeds. No good. A lot of swimming pools these days also have what's called an infinity edge. So there'd be no edge here, but just this is down lower and the water constantly spills over into a tank below. Beautiful pools. Again, I've got two of those that I do regular services on. They've had variable speed pumps put on them and you can't ever use them because if you run it on the low speed, then it just finds a low spot and trickles over one side and leaves all the rest of it dry and it gets dirty and so forth. So again, if you want your infinity edgy work, you need your full flow of the big pump. So there's just a lot of situations where people buy these pumps. They are more expensive, but you just got to make sure they're going to work in your application. So all that being said, they are a great idea. They do work. So if you don't have an infinity edge and you don't have a suction cleaner, let's say you've got a robotic cleaner, I'll put a link up here to the Hayward Tiger Shark, which I think is an absolutely brilliant robotic cleaner. And again, look at the links in the description of that video if you want to buy a robot. Again, if you've got a suction cleaner, a variable speed pump, you put a robot on because it doesn't run through the pump. That is done away. You can then actually run this on low speed. Now, the real reason is that I don't like variable speed pumps is just because of how complicated they are. There's quite a few different brands of them, and the standard pumps, capacitor, wiring, starting wiring, they can be repaired, they can be rewound, you can get the bearings into them, quite all okay. It's a standard motor. You come to the variable speed and they get uber complicated. They've got magnets inside them, they've got electronics inside them. Look, as I said, I've been in the pool industry 30 years, so maybe I'm a bit of a stickler, but I think you can get things too complicated. These are things outside in a black box, out in the weather, remembering, out in the water, and the rain and all the rest of it. It's not a great place to put electronics. And the simple fact is you cannot repair them. I've got a motor repairer and he just doesn't touch variable speed pumps because they're all magnets and electronics. So it's like buying the very latest and greatest car. All of a sudden you can only get it repaired by the dealer if you take it back to Hayward. And the truth is that a lot of them times they're just throwing out the other bit and replacing it, even under warranty. I've had a couple of repairs, not on Hayward brand, but warranty repairs on other brands of variable speed pumps, and both times they've just come out and swapped the motor out and said, you can put this in the bin. They just don't repair them, don't play with them. So it becomes a throwaway item. So that's the big one. I am conservative. I like to keep things simple. I love saltwater chlorinators, I love robotic cleaners, all that sort of thing, but the variable speeds I'm not yet sold on. As I said, I do sell them, people want them. And there are situations where they are wonderful, save a heap of power. The thing is, when you run them on the low speed, you still, the standard thing for filtering a swimming pool is that you need to be able to turn the water over in 6 to 8 hours. So all of the water, you need to set up a system. If you've got a 60,000 litre pool that's pumping 60,000 litres in that 6 to 8 hour period. When you drop it to low speed, obviously you have to run it for longer, but you still do save the power even though you're running for a longer period of time. So if you don't have a suction cleaner, don't have an infinity edge, absolutely go for one of these. They'll save you power. They're quieter to run if you've got a situation where you can hear it, like the pump and filter right near a bedroom or something like that. Absolutely go for it. They're really good. If you do have an infinity edge, if you do have a suction cleaner, and you don't like things to be uber complicated, then I'd say give these a miss. Here's the good news. You've had to wait on this long to get it. Actually, I won't make this a long video. The good news is, have a look at this video up here, and it says why you don't rate pumps by horsepower anymore, because the short version is you've now got pumps that are so efficient. This is the litres per minute. Traditionally, a 3/4 horsepower would pump 120 litres a minute. These new Eco pumps by Hayward are now pumping 230. Have a look. It used to be a 1 horsepower. The horsepower, or the wattage, this is how much power it's using. So like a 100 watt globe uses 100 watts of power. A 1 horsepower is actually 750 watts. So that's using the same as 7.5 100 watt light globes of power. But to get the 200 litres per minute, now this is only roughly 550 watts or something like that. So it's a big power saving just from a single speed, normal priced single speed pump. Now that these Ecos are out, better pump design, better motor design. So here, this is what I'm excited about. These pumps are really worth your while because you're getting big power savings all the time, but you're still getting your full flow. You don't have to run it for twice as long. You're still getting your full flow out of the pump, just using a whole lot less electricity. Anyway, have a look at that other pump, and I've got links for all of these purchases, both in Australia and in America, and they'll send to other places as well. Have a look at the links in the description. Thanks. And look, you can put some, if you've got questions about variable speed pumps, single speed pumps and the Ecos and all the rest of it, put your questions down in the comments, and then when I get a few, I'll make a video answering those questions and then put links next to those so that in future times people come, they can see the questions and answers. So I'm not saying I'm going to answer it on the spot, not by any stretch, but if you put your questions down, I'll get to them when there's 3 or 4 there, answer the questions, I'll make a video and get it up. So over time, they'll get a really good resource of things there, but feel free to put those questions down. Okay, Mark's Reviews and Tutorials out. Thanks for watching.